Hello and welcome to Philippine Politics and Governance. I am Armin Rose and I will be your guide as we learn the concepts of this course. Today's lesson is Lesson 11, Civil Society and Social Movements. The civil society is an important part of the political landscape, even though it is not part of the government. Civil society are non-government members of society that promote the interests of the public. They are known to champion issues of society like human rights, labor, gender, environmental protection, and poverty. So they are advocates for marginalized people and sectors, and also for the issues that they deem important. There are four sectors of civil society. The first sector is the business sector, which is the most powerful sector in civil society because it controls the economy and the means of production of the country. The second sector is the religious sector, which is another powerful group. No matter what religion they are, most of our decisions, or a lot of our decisions rather, are also decided because of our religion, especially here in the Philippines. The third sector is mass media, which can be either traditional or social media. This is where people get their information. The traditional media is made up of the TV, the radio, and the newspaper, and social media are the groups and other applications that we download from the internet. The fourth sector of civil societies are the NGOs and the POs, or the non-government organizations and people's organizations. These are the groups that advocate for issues or sectors in society that are that are marginalized or that need some help. Now, there are also types of civil society organizations. So here we will see again NGOs and POs. Non-government organizations are organizations that also try to provide social services or social welfare services for the people who need them, but they are not part of the government. That's why non-government. Then the people's organizations are the groups of sectors like the women, the youth, the age, the labor groups who have a common characteristics or a common issue that they need to defend or advocate for that people's organizations usually call for social change. That's why they have a distinction of sometimes being called radical groups. Another type of organization are the think tanks and policy research institutes. So these can be based in universities and colleges, or also the research and development departments of companies. So they help the government think of programs that can be used by the people. And then we have the cooperatives. So these are made by the people themselves. They're usually either they have the same job or they live in the same place, and they pool their resources together so that they can help each other achieve social justice in their group or in their locations. And then we have non-profit media organizations. So these are media practitioners, newspapers, and radio stations who broadcast not for advertisement but only to provide information for the people. Now, civil society plays important roles in politics. First, they can be a third-party observer of the government. So since they are neither the beneficiaries or the, the benefactors or those who deliver the services, they can look at the projects and programs objectively and give their suggestions or opinions about the programs, whether they are really effective or not. Next, they also aid in the implementation of programs and services. Like the NGOs, they go to certain places or meet with certain people and address those needs that the government cannot do anymore. They are also advocates for the marginalized sectors. So this is where the people who are not usually heard by the government, this is where they can have their voices be heard, and tell the government or the public what they need. They're also the venue for voicing people's concerns. So yes, those are also connected. And catalysts of social change. So they will start the change that is needed by society when the time comes. Now, social movement is a distinct process consisting of the mechanism through which actors engage in collective action. It has to be a movement where a lot of people participate in order to achieve a certain goal. One of the most successful social movements recognized all over the world is the 1986 People Power Revolution. This was held in February 24 to 26 of 1986 and was instrumental in the removal of the President Ferdinand Marcos from his seat of power. And it's also a revolution that is known as the most peaceful and bloodless revolution in history. There are three characteristics of social movement. For purposes of this discussion, we are going to use the EDSA revolution as the benchmark of these characteristics. But the first characteristic of social movement is that it promotes or opposes social change. So there is a need to either maintain the status quo or have a radical reorganization of society. So in the case of the EDSA revolution, they are promoting social change. The second characteristic of a social movement is that it is made of informal networks of different social groups. So these people are not homogeneous. They are heterogeneous groups made of different types of people. They have different jobs. They have different characteristics. And they have never previously met except in that occasion where they are seeking the same goal. Next, the members share a collective identity because of their common connection and shared purpose. So because they are there for the same reasons, they consider themselves a group and they act as a group. Now, civil societies and social movements are not part of the government who has the mandate to do all the things related to a state, but they are very powerful in the dynamics of Philippine politics and governance. The following are the reference materials that are used in the creation of this presentation and the ideas discussed in the video. So thank you for watching and see you next lesson.